what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Ranty Flat Earth, Sleeping Warrior, Jose and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hola.
Okay, everybody be quiet. Listen to how sick and weak my horn is. Listen, here it goes. Ready?
That sounds like the horn that Miles Davis would have when he comes in.
Sounds like somebody stuck a sock in there.
So, Ranty, have you been debunked yet?
No. So.
Yeah, you have. You owe me $300.
Yeah. I've updated the challenge. Sorry, I'm eating at the same time, so just bear with me. I've updated the challenge. I've just done a live stream. I've upped it to $700 now, so essentially that's all I can afford. And it's all my Christmas money, so there'll be no Christmas presents for anybody if they can perform the task. Dead easy.
What is the task? How's it been updated?
Good morning.
Well,
Guys.
the car tyre, I'm in control of the car tyre, so that PSI is under my control, right? So I want somebody to demonstrate to me something with 16 PSI under their control. Dead easy. Without a container.
Oh, without a container? Oh, no, that sounds pretty difficult.
Well, not really, because if you believe in pressure gradients, it should be dead easy for them to control, much like the Earth. The Earth controls the PSI that's around it, apparently. The air that's around us is under the control of the Earth, or as gravity. So it is being controlled by something, so it should be easy to replicate. Surely.
Right. So
I can do it with a container.
I think there's an issue though, Ranty.
What's that?
I think there's an issue on interpretation with regards to the ballers. Because if you're on our side of the discussion, it's obvious what the interpretation is, but they don't seem to understand that the fact that a tire pressure without a tire means that you can't have the Earth in a vacuum of space without a tire around it. So if for example, the Earth was the air that was going into the tire, and the Earth existed in that air, the tire would contain the pressure of the atmosphere, right? They don't seem to realize that there's a correlation. If you can't have a tire, you can't have an Earth in the vacuum of space either. You need a membrane of some kind.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Gravity barrier.
Yeah, well, that's what he's asking for, Arwin. He's asking for somebody to demonstrate. If it's by means of gravity, then by all means, if you want to show gas pressure being maintained without a container by way of gravity, then I'm more than willing to have a damn good gander at that.
Wouldn't it be ironic that somebody would actually go up there and basically with a balloon or whatever knock on that dome and say, see, there's the gravity barrier.
There's the gravity barrier. It's called a dome.
The key word that Ranty's used is the word demonstrate. Not explain, not suggest.
Not conceptualize.
Yeah, not conceptualize like that guy that came on the after show yesterday.
Not drawing a whiteboard with mathematics either.
Yeah, we want the demonstration.
Yeah.
And if you're going to argue things that involve planets and gravitational pulls from planets and all that, okay, fine, but that means that you haven't produced any demonstration, right? Because basically you're providing us with a story, and I've got a unicorn fart that I can contain in my garage. It disperses pretty quickly, right? But if I can't demonstrate that the fart of the unicorn disperses pretty quickly in my garage, I haven't produced anything. So if you're going to claim that you've got an explanation, but you can't demonstrate it, which was the requirement, then you haven't got anything.
Yeah, and also I want them to have it in control. So before, when Nathan popped his balloon, essentially he didn't have control of the PSI of the air. You know, so that's
it did kinda. I slowed the
No, you didn't
footage
have control
down.
of it.
I slowed the footage
Did
right
you?
down. That's good enough, right? That means I've got control of the footage, which is the same thing.
No, you have to have control of the air pressure. Essentially, I have control of the air pressure when it's in a tire. The Earth has control of its air pressure as it zooms around infinite space, right? At God knows how much speed, and it's whizzing around at 1,000 miles at the equator, and it's controlling it's holding the PSI in place. So I want them to demonstrate that without a container. It's that easy.
I think you're moving the goalposts. So I think my demonstration was perfectly sufficient.
I don't think so. Could you prove that it was 14.7 psi?
Yeah.
How?
By saying it's 14.7 psi, and I can even, if you want me to, I'll tell you what, I'll make it like absolutely cast iron. I'll put it in the info
But
box.
it's short.
No,
That's
I'll
too
put
late.
I'll put it in the
that's gone
description.
now.
I'll put it in the description. then it's cast iron, right? If I put it in the description now.
Yeah, if you say it, then it must be true.
No, I'm also going to put it in the description.
Oh, right. Okay, so that makes it real.
Yeah, because it's then written down. That makes it real.
It's a shame that the task has ended, though, Nath. What can I
I've
say?
already won. I've already got the $300, have I?
No, it's been updated. I can't afford to pay for two, mate. Because then I'd
okay.
only have to pay 400 on the other. I've got 700 in total, so I've got 700 that I can offer out. If I kept the other one open, that would be 700 and 300. That would be $1,000. So I've only got 700 to play with. So I might as well go for broke and basically ask for the proof that will take me away from flat Earth and give me my life back.
Well, I can do better than that because I can find an explanation and I can put it on Wikipedia. So when you wiki it, you will find it just exactly the way I explained it, and boom, there's the money.
No, I demonstrated it.
Was it controlled, though?
Yeah, I told you I slowed the footage down. That's controlling it.
Nice try, Nath, but it's not going to wash. It wasn't an experiment, mate.
Fair enough. No $300 for me moving the goalposts. That's the only way you can win, isn't it? Actually wanting real evidence. You know, fake evidence on YouTube with something in the comment section is not good enough. Well, then, I don't know what is.
It's a sad life, Nath. It really is. Right, let's do some housekeeping.
Well, we've covered gas pressure without a container, I think. So any signs of Earth curve?
Nope.
Right now.
No.
Axial rotation? Slightly covered a bit of that.
Nah.
Nope.
Not of the Earth-based variety.
Self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
A what? I bet you can't say that.
Say what?
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? Gentlemen.
No. We've never gone beyond 10 miles or so.
I wonder if anyone knows what's down there. For sure. If there's anyone in the world.
I'm not averse to it being different layers of us. There could be more of us underneath, for all we know. We don't know, do we? Because nobody's
be
done
hell,
that.
for all we know. Could be the fires of hell.
Could well be.
Any scientific evidence of gravity? For all those people in the chat that have been going, gravity holds the gas pressure.
Hold on, Nathan. If you're going to say that the fires of hell are going to be down there, and then you're kind of supporting the molten iron core concept.
Well, I think that's probably where they got the idea.
All right. Libreca, see you later then. Bye. Way too boring for a beep. Bye-bye.
Right. What about the distance as it's on screen? I can see if I can get the timing in. Distance to the sun? Anybody? Anybody at all?
No, there is no distance to the sun.
It's an aberration.
No, an apparition. Almost.
Ooh, scary sun.
Oh,
Apparition.
get it right, Ranty. Gravity is an aberration. The sun is an apparition.
Yeah.
Boom.
Wow.
Word salad is aberration.
Science is sadly lacking, though. Science is sadly lacking for the globe.
That's
They just have salad.
Are we done on the
word
housekeeping?
salad can be aberration, yeah.
We are done.
Nathan,
Well
I've got a suggestion. I know you don't like cheesy sound effects because you think that they're cheesy, but I think there's one. You know, like every rule's got an exemption. I think I'm going to suggest that there could be an exemption to the rule that you don't like using cheesy sound effects. And my exemption suggestion is you should get a flushing toilet sound for the conclusion of each of the housekeeping points, just to add a bit of colour to it. So basically, when we all say no, eventually we all say no to what each question, you can just make the flush noise so that it's been flushed down the toilet, because there is no evidence for all these things. And by asking the question, people on the ball earth side don't seem to be understanding that this is flushing away their nonsense. And I think we should be flushing away the shit each time we ask it. And I just request respectfully that we have one sound effect in the show.
We did have that conversation.
Veto.
We did have that
Oh, come
conversation
on.
with Alan
Absolutely
yesterday.
not.
So we were talking to Alan about
Let's not bring toilet humor into this.
angular relationships when you're taking pictures of things. And he was like, well, of course you've got, angles to take into consideration. He said it with such confidence, and then we had to point out, well, no, that's the whole point. That's why we're doing what we're doing, Alan. That's the undoing of your religious belief. You can assert that you understand about how the angles work until it comes to actually representing what you claim we think the flat earth is, which is a 90-degree adjacent view or orthographic representation of somebody taking an observation, not actually observing, not looking through their eyeballs. You're looking at them looking at something. So they're basically removing it. And you point this out to someone like Alan, and he just goes a bit silent and tries to change the subject. It's like, this is the undoing of your religion. Hello?
No one can take away a man's belief but themselves. They can make it very hard on you.
I missed a housekeeping question. Any evidence of our Earth radius, gentlemen?
Nope.
Only in math.
Correct.
Nope.
By the way, Owen, if you can't prove your point, you can always do a Miles Davis and crop out the evidence.
Texas sharpshooter. Love it.
Texas sharpshooter. That's the one.
Yeah, let's discuss that lying little weasel for a minute. Miles Davis's observation was debunked a week ago, maybe more. And let's just be really clear, because Miles is burying his head in the sand. What he's doing is milking the picture for all it's worth. I'm telling everybody that one picture proves that the Earth is a sphere.
The cropped out picture.
He's literally ignoring the debunk that's been dealt with comprehensively numerous times, but still telling everyone that it's a sphere. And it's like, there's a debunk there, Miles. You're expected to respond and address it. And as far as I can tell, I've not watched all of his nonsense, but as far as I can tell, he hasn't responded to it. Now, if he has, shoot me down, but it doesn't appear that he's even acknowledging that there is a debunk there which proves that it's not a sphere. And to put it simply, angular size means that all those mountains in the background, Miles, are not supposed to be sat where they are if we're on a sphere. They're supposed to be significantly lower. And you can contrast between the two observations, or between the two models, if you will, by just calculating angular size, which has been done for you and presented. And it shows that when you look at all of the mountains as a collective, it shows where the line should be. Now, yeah, you can argue over whether it's a couple of pixels too high or too low, but you can see that all of the mountains are significantly bigger than what they should be when you consider angular size and the curvature. But when you just consider angular size, they all sit in the same place. And Miles is ignoring it, and he's telling people still that it's proof of a sphere Earth, and it clearly is not. So basically, what I'm saying is, start bullying the guy, because he has to address it. Why is it that angular size supports our narrative, but it doesn't support the sphere?
Yeah, the video I did watch from Miles Davis did precisely what I said moments ago. So he showed a side elevation. He showed somebody's side profile making an observation of a mountain and described how it should appear. Well, I'd like to know, has that been validated? That drawing? Has he gone out and got that picture? In other words, has he gone side on to this picture? Shouldn't be too difficult, right? Has he gone side on and taken the picture that he showed us in CAD? Because it would have been just as easy to go and take a picture of that, right? Rather than draw it and tell us what we should have on a flat Earth, and then what your model says we should have on a globe, while simultaneously ignoring all aspects of perspective. This seems very, very cagey. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, this is actually how we debunked it. Correct, Anthony?
Yeah. That things get smaller as a function of distance.
Yeah, this is very 6 months ago. This is very, very 6 months ago. So it seems Miles has stuck his head in the sand for 6 months, and now we're kicking his ass while his head's in the sand. Well, we're happy to keep kicking it. Just pull your head out the sand and at least acknowledge one of the things we say. You debunked, you absolute idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Alan.
Orthographic view only gives you hints and knowledge about real sizes. It does not help you with all the elements that an actual viewing function will yield.
They were full of demands. This will be my last point, right? When he was out at Anthony at the Isle of Man, they were full of demands about things he should and should not have got. Well, in his representation, he's got a cartoon, hasn't he, of the side elevation. I want him to go and get that picture to validate what he claims. So, Miles, you are full of suggestions. Well, I've got one for you, matey. Go and get the thing you drew in a CAD program to represent what you say we say the Earth is. Go and get that picture so you no longer need to use CAD. Go and get the side profile. No problem. Shouldn't be that difficult.
Can you just present me, Nath, for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry if I got my clothes on. Yeah.
Clothes on?
That's okay. Well, I wouldn't want you presenting him if he stood there in the mud.
No, definitely not. But essentially, this is the evidence that we've worked from. We've worked from the evidence that he's given us. We've got Stronen that is nicely popped out for us on his video. Care Not Kill, he's told us where that is. He's got all these details in. And when we plugged all this into a angular size calculator, we realized that these mountain ranges shouldn't be in the position that they are if you believe you live on a ball. And yet, when you apply the angular size calculation to a flat model, it looks identical to what you would expect to see on a flat Earth. The only problem being that once we did this, and Adam Meakin was the first one to do it, and we proved that this image actually is a flat Earth proof rather than a ball Earth proof, he has now cropped out the evidence of the other mountains and has given us a much smaller image to work from. So he's now presenting this image as being flat Earth destroyed with one photograph. And this is now the photograph that he's working from, which is, and I'll just show you on here, which is a crop out of this one image from there to there. This is now the image that he's working from. So he's essentially removing himself from all the evidence that disproves that it is that disproves his ball Earth claim. So he's removing all that evidence and now only presenting us with this image, which is a cropped out image of the original that we used to debunk him.
And let's just be clear, all them mountains, if it was a sphere, they would appear smaller because they've gone behind the curve as well as shrunk. Now, if it's a plane, they're just appearing bigger because there's no curve to make them appear smaller. And that's what we're seeing.
So shout out to Retro Bill, says, brilliant point, Nathan. Show us the orthographic photos, not drawings of what we should see. Absolutely, Retro Bill. See, according to Rumpus in the chat, that's just not possible. Well, then stop giving us the drawings of it. If it's not possible to photograph it, why are you having to draw it in a CAD program? Let's just not remove ourselves from the observation itself so that we can remove all aspects of perspective. But let's just not do that.
It's mandatory to do an orthographic view so they can plug in the math on it. Huh?
Yeah, that's where Miles has been debunked. He just doesn't seem to want to acknowledge this fact. He wants to stick his head in the sand. That's all right. When someone's head's in the sand, it's really easy to kick their ass.
But why would you remove the evidence from the video and give you a much smaller cropped out image to work from rather than showing the entire image? Why would you do this?
It's the Texas sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
So let Miles, everybody that's not on his side, beginning of who's been debunked, and the debunk requires to be explained concisely, not in a 45-minute video, Miles, where you waffle your way through it with a load of nonsense. We want to see how you counter the mathematics that shows that smaller over distance, and then when you add the curve to it, it removes from the horizon of the mountains. But without the curve, the mountains appear where we pitch mathematics. Right?
You're breaking up, Anthony. You're breaking up.
Isn't Miles's point that the mountains should be higher than the bridge?
Sorry, should be? What do you mean should be? You mean when using your model and begging the question and automatically assuming? Is that what you mean should be?
No, on a flat Earth.
Compared to what? Compared to what?
The mountains would be
Yeah,
higher
his
than
flat
the bridge.
Earth, didn't you listen, Alan? He says what the flat Earth should represent is something that's in 90-degree adjacent to the actual observation taken. So he has to draw it in a CAD program. Didn't you just listen to anything we just said?
No, I've just joined in.
So compared to what is his representation of what he says we say the Earth should be, and that is actually 90 degrees adjacent to the actual observation, Alan. Do you understand that?
But surely Miles's point is if...
You haven't answered me. Do you understand what I've just explained? I'll explain it a fourth time if you like. He says what the flat Earth should be is a 90-degree adjacent representation to the actual imagery. In doing so, he removes all aspects of perspective. We went through this yesterday on the after show with you, Alan. You wouldn't concede or acknowledge it then either. So this is probably more than 4 times I've said it to you in the last 24 hours.
Nathan, calm down. I think Alan's got a fair point. I think what Miles is trying to say is that when he lines himself up with the top of the stanchion, that the mountains cannot be in the same position. That is Miles's point. However,
sorry,
Miles
sorry, just 1 second. Has anybody actually given any validity to the claim that he is exactly the same height as those stanchions? Has he proven that at all?
No.
Sorry, so his claim is based on his assertion that he is the same height as these things.
Yeah, he hasn't proved it. I agree.
Oh, right. Anything else, Alan?
No, calm down.
No, I won't calm down. We've got lying shits like Miles Davis who make claims about what I say the world is. And he does it to remove the actual element that we are dealing with, which is perspective. That's the 5th time I've said it to you. You're not acknowledging it. You're telling me to calm down. So do you acknowledge that he has misrepresented what we say the Earth is by putting us 90 degrees to the observation he's actually taken? Do you acknowledge that or not?
No.
Why not? That's what he's done. That's how we've debunked him. Hello? This is why I get pissed at you, stupid old twat. Yes, that's what he does. Not no, not hand wave dismissal, you stupid git. Yes, that's what he's done to misrepresent what we say the Earth is. No, we don't look at 90 degrees adjacent to any observation, Alan. Is that clear? Are you stupid? Or do I need to get more agitated with you because you're thick? Not laugh. Acknowledge what I've said. He's misrepresenting what we say the Earth is by taking us 90 degrees adjacent to the actual observation. That's the 5th time I've said it on this show. About the 10th time in the last 24 hours. What is wrong with you, Alan? Hello, Lowry.
Hello.
Hello. What's wrong with you, Alan? What's wrong with you?
Nothing, I'm fine. Just having a cup of tea.
Okay, I'll say it again for a 6th time on this show and see if you acknowledge it. Then I'll ask you again what's wrong with you if you don't. So, in order to misrepresent what he says we view the world as, he removes himself from the observation and puts himself 90 degrees adjacent to it in an orthographic view, so that he can remove all aspects of the angles that you deal with when in a perspective view. So I've made it more clear. Why aren't you acknowledging this? Why is it no?
Well, I'm questioning the picture that Ranta displayed. And on a flat Earth, that would not be possible.
I'll say it again for a 6th time. I'll say it slower. In order to misrepresent what he says we say the Earth should be, he removes himself from the observation and puts it 90 degrees adjacent to it in an orthographic view, maintaining actual size and excluding perspective, Alan. Was that slow enough? 7th time of saying it, probably the 12th in the last 24 hours. What's your problem, Alan? What's your malfunction?
I haven't got one. I'm fine.
It seems like you have. I've just asked you something and
He
you've
doesn't
gone
care.
silent. Now I ask you what your problem is and you say you don't have one. I've asked you the same thing 12 times.
About the picture.
Now you're
Surely.
talking over me. You do have a malfunction. You're stupid. If you can't acknowledge what I've just said, then you are stupid. Why won't you concede this? Now, different question, Alan. Why won't you concede this and would rather sit mute than concede this fact?
Shout out to Ute.
No, that uncomfortable silence was you not answering me. Why won't... It's a new question. I'll repeat it. There's been a long, prolonged silence. There's no need to talk over me while I repeat the question you ignored and then decided to shout out Ute. Why can't you concede this fact that he has removed himself from the observation in order to misrepresent what he says we claim the Earth to be?
I can't concede it because I've not seen him do that.
I'm telling you it as a fact. That's what all of you do. It's not just him you utter. No, shut up. It's not just Miles Davis. This is standard practice, Alan. Standard practice. Remove yourself from the observation and present it in an orthographic view, with you being able to see both the observer and observable thing.
Isn't that what you do when you talk about your angle of attack, though?
I'm not talking about what I do. I'm talking about what you do.
No, you do that, though, don't you?
Alan, are you deaf? Why won't you concede that this is what you globeheads, not exclusively Miles Davis, not a distraction onto what I do, why you globeheads who lie to everybody about what the world is, misrepresent what we claim the Earth to be by putting it in an orthographic view? This isn't news. This isn't new. This is standard practice, Alan. So, I'll ask you again, why won't you concede that this debunks his claim?
Because it doesn't.
It does. So, okay, new question, Alan. Do you feel that an orthographic representation includes perspective?
No.
Well, then it doesn't represent the world, Alan, and it's standard fare to put it into orthographic view. Not a claim, a fact.
Bad news if you're designing buildings, then.
Sorry, we're not talking about designing buildings. None of you fucktards are building anything, you stupid man. Have you ever built anything, idiot? No.
Yeah.
So let's not change the subject. Let's not... No, Arwin, shut up. Arwin. Let's not change the subject to architecture. We're talking about the representation of the globe Earth and how it misrepresents the flat Earth. by representing it in an orthographic, non-perspective inclusive view. You know this. You've been a part of this debate. This isn't news, Alan.
Next question.
No, this is the undoing of your religion, like I said to you on the after show. This undoes your religion. You can acknowledge that angles are inclusive, except when you represent what we say the Earth should be, which is obviously and observably flat. And when you include any of these elements of perspective, it takes a dump on your worldview. But you won't acknowledge it. So we're not moving on if we have to stay on this subject till the end of this show. You are going to acknowledge that you globeheads misrepresent us on a daily basis with orthographic views of the flat Earth. Shout out to...
How do we misrepresent somebody with no map and no idea what anything is?
Sorry, another ham-handed segue onto a different subject. We are talking about representations of photography, like the Isle of Man, like Miles Davis's shot, like Ranty's shots, like any shot that is going to be assessed on its globe validity. It will be put into an orthographic representation when you misrepresent our position about what the world should look like.
However, you use orthographic diagrams to explain.
Orthographic diagrams are used all the time. That is not the point. Orthographic views have their uses, but not for presenting the perspective view from a camera. That's a misuse of the orthographic view, and that's what you do. That's the point I'm getting you to concede, but you're dancing around it like a bloody fairy.
Why is it a misuse?
You can't use it
because it doesn't include perspective. Let me answer him, Alwyn. Because it doesn't include the very real fact of perspective. This is how Miles is debunked. When you include those aspects, the aspects he removed by putting us in an orthographic representation, that's how we debunked him.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. He doesn't include any aspect of perspective in his misrepresentation.
Correctly so.
Oh, sorry, we don't have a perspective view on the world, Rumpus.
Oh, we do when you're an observer, but when you're drawing a diagram...
Yeah, that's what we are talking about, pictures that we've observed.
You
that's what we're talking about, Rumpus. You utter fuckwit. We're talking about pictures.
You don't
we're talking
know
about
what you're
pictures.
Talking about.
Hello?
I can't believe you're even offering this as an argument. If you really believe what you're saying, you are really, really stupid.
Yeah, we have perspective in our world.
The best I can offer you is you don't really
Sorry, we have perspective in our world, Rumpus. You're not going to rumpus me. We have perspective in that picture, do we not?
In the picture, we do, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're assessing. So by excluding perspective, it's a misrepresentation. That's my point.
Not in the diagram, because in the diagram...
We're not talking about the diagram that you create, you utter fuckwit.
You're a moron. If you don't understand, you use...
I do understand. We have perspective in the picture, and we will include it when we assess it, you stupid man.
If you believe what you're saying...
Don't stutter here,
you are
you
really,
religious
really
zealot.
Stupid.
Listen, the diagram that you present is a misrepresentation. You are a stupid idiot.
You know, let me show you what I'll draw.
Don't show me anything. I'm not asking you for anything.
Yeah,
you joined to rumpus. Your only purpose is to disrupt because you are a stupid idiot.
I'm perpetually positive.
You're stupid. You think perspective should be removed, and that's because you're a moron.
Because you don't like the subject, Nathan. You like to avoid the discussion on the actual subject. You just want to deliver abuse and censor people. You want to censor reality. You're a backward, anti-science,
Does reality include perspective?
Sorry?
Does reality include...
Start asking the questions.
Does reality include perspective?
For a viewer making an observation, yes.
So a camera includes perspective. Why would you exclude it when studying it?
But to create the perspective image...
Not to create it. You see, this is where you go.
But the camera
you obfuscating religious zealot. Immediately obfuscates my question, because that's what you have to do if you're a religious zealotard. You have to distract. You have to rumpus. You can't directly address the fact that when you assess the world, you ignore perspective, rumpus. That's because you're a moron. Hey, P.
Hi. Oh, it's
Okay, so
I haven't finished with Alan. Alan, when assessing these pictures, you globetard religious zealots remove yourselves from the picture like Rumpus was telling us we must, even though he concedes that perspective is part of reality. So, why do you ignore perspective?
why should we include it?
Because it's part of reality, whoever said that, you stupid idiot. Yeah, it's not funny. It's not funny. The stupidity level of a question about why we should include perspective when it's part of reality is beyond comprehension. The level of stupidity to ask such a question. Why should we include perspective? What kind of an idiot asks why we should include something that we absolutely observe every single time we open our eyes or take a picture, which is precisely what we're assessing? Why should we include it? Because it's there, you idiot. Because it's there. Does that answer your question, Lara?
You're an idiot, Nathan.
Because it's there. Does that answer your question, Lara? While everyone gangs up on me, while I rip you all apart with your religious beliefs in a globe. It's there, Lara. That's why we include it. Does that answer your question?
Your epistemological worldview is dogmatic, Nathan.
Tony, do you want to step in and be reasonable?
Yeah, I haven't got an answer. It's included in the world that we live in, Lara. Is that answering your question or not?
No, it's not.
So we don't include, so we don't have perspective in these pictures we are assessing, you complete idiot!
I know, but why should we have it?
Yeah, because it's there! Are you stupid? I mean, am I really dealing with people this thick?
Empiricism has...
Why are you interrupting, P? I'm not talking to you. You can stay if you know your place and talk when someone addresses you. Otherwise, I'll kick you out again. Nobody's talking to you, so don't gang up on me, right? I'm pointing out that we include perspective because it's there, in the picture. So for this idiot to ask why we should include it is benign, it's stupid.
Well, that's
fine. Stupid idiot, Nathan. Because your epistemological world.
So, still haven't got an answer to my question.
Well, I didn't get answer to mine.
Why should we include it? Because it's there.
Do you not understand how diagrams work?
I'm not talking about diagrams. We're assessing photographs. You're doing the exact same thing Rumpus just did. You utter imbecile. Are we assessing a diagram that you create about what I say the world looks like? Or are we looking at photographs that include perspective to answer your question of why we should include it? You must remove it. Because if you don't, your world doesn't work. Your globe belief fails. That's why we include it. To rip people like Miles apart when they assert... When removing yourself from this observation, it should look like this. No, we have perspective. Is that clear? Or are you going to do like Alan did and ignore it for the next 20 times I ask?
I'm not sure I get the point, though.
The point is we include perspective because it's real and there in every image. If you don't understand this, like Alan, you are stupid.
It's an odd argument. It's really
No, it's not odd to assert that we include perspective because it's there. That's not odd. You're just a religious zealot. You can't include it because it defies your world belief. That's the point. You have to assert that we must see it inside view if we're on a flat earth, because otherwise your perspective hijacking calculations fail. You are stupid. I don't know why I'm talking to you, Alan. We've already ascertained that you're a retard. I'm trying to get through to Lara. We include it because it's there, Muppet. What part of this don't you get?
Okay, Gammon.
Shut up or I'll kick you out, Alan. I'm done with you. You're stupid. I'm dealing with someone else who's asking a stupid question to see if I can get it through to him. That we include it because it's real and there and in the sodding photo. Do you get it yet? Do you get it yet?
Why are we including it, though?
Because it's there! How many times? Are you deaf as well as stupid? Because it is there. Because we see in a perspective view. Because this photo on screen now includes perspective. So if I'm going to sodding assess it, I'm going to assess the perspective that's in it. Not exclude it completely by putting us in an orthographic view and drawing it on a sodding CAD program because I'm a globehead who wants to misrepresent the world and say that the perspective we do see is actually sodding Earth curve.
But why do we need the perspective though?
Oh, right. That's the last time you asked the same question, you absolute fuckwit. Get out. Waste my time. Idiot, like Alan. What are you doing here? Let's make space on the panel for some other idiots. Right, globeheads. Space is fake. You can't have gas pressure without a container. Your globe is fake. You represent the flat Earth by removing yourself from any observations. Hello, Tommy.
How many teddy bears you sold today?
Excuse me? What the hell does this have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Shape of your head, dickhead.
Yeah, that's just an ad hominem. You don't have anything. Let's see who else is the best this has got. This is the best you globeheads have got. How many people are watching? Over 200. And the best people in the audience, full of globetards, can do is come in and ask me questions about what I've sold. We are shitting on your religion, globeheads. This is it. This is the end of your faith. Because all you've got when I point out to you that it fails miserably is to ask me the same question 5 times. Why do we need to include perspective? Yeah, the cognitive dissonance is so unbelievable in you retards. I'm sick of it. You're all thick. For Alan not to be able to acknowledge that you're misrepresenting the world, it's beyond belief. The fact that I have to point it out to him over a dozen times is the level of stupidity amongst you completely programmed idiots who think you live on a globe. Idiots and morons.
Nathan, we have 2 different displays. We have Alan, who's being obtuse intentionally. And so he isn't interested in dialogue. He just simply asks his questions over and over again to be a pain in the neck. But then we have this other guy who is asking the question sincerely. He sincerely does not know why. And that to me is, I'm incredulous. And I would love to have a baller come in who understands why perspective must be accounted for and have a healthy discussion. I have yet to have
even hearing it from you, Travis, I've got to be honest, even hearing it from you in a very calm manner, without any confrontation, trying to play devil's advocate or offer some empathy, still makes my blood boil. Because I've said it. Why?
No, I get
because
it.
It's there.
No, I get it. I get it.
Why? Because it's real. That's why. I've said it to him 5 times. So he genuinely doesn't know why. But I've told him.
I was muted, but I'm screaming him into my microphone. Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay, there I go.
I think it was
I got an argument here. I got an argument in behalf of the Globers.
I missed
all right.
Sorry.
Okay, I got a valid argument here. Perspective, right? So, if sunset and sunrise, you know where I'm coming from, right? So, how does sunset and sunrise works if when I use a solar filter and I record the sun coming up the horizon early in the morning and I see a angular size, I wait for the sun to be at noon over me, and with the solar filter is the same size, and when the sun is about to set, it's still the same size. If it's perspective, which I'm not claiming because the bold believers believe is going around, you know, I mean, the earth is turning around. So how does the sun doesn't change angular size? I mean, please.
I don't know. What's the claim actually? What's the claim? What are they actually claiming?
The claim, they say, because in a flat Earth, if the sun is going around a flat Earth, either way, any shape it is, just a flat plane. If the sun, the only way it could work in a flat Earth is going around in different tropics for the seasons, so it should change angular size as it traverses the plane.
That's because they're assuming something about the object they're looking at.
Right. We don't know what the sun is or claim to. For every single flat earther, I mean, I even said to Anthony yesterday, it's like worth pronouncing the term flat earther. I know the Earth's flat, but being a flat earther, if that means I've got to put my name next to some idiot that gets an azimuthal equidistant projection, sticks a sun and moon physical sized circles above it and rotates them, and says that's the Earth you live on, it just makes me want to slap them. It's like, I don't know what the sun is. I have no idea. I've looked at it more intensely than most have looked at it. You know, a couple of years ago I ran hangouts across the world with everyone tracking it. So I've got a pretty good idea that I don't know anything about it. So why would I assert that it's a physical thing traversing the Earth in a circle when I don't know what it is?
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, that's the same answer I got. I really don't know what the sun is, how big it is, how far it is, if it's a solid object, if not, how it behaves, what is going on with the sun now. They have a model, they have an explanation, they have a just so story, very explicit, and they want me to have a just so story, but I really don't know. I really could care less. I'm more interested on Earth observations where we can validate and prove and test and feel, you know. That's my answer, pretty much.
Let's see if you can be a bit more civil this time.
Nah, you read it in a textbook, man.
So, Jose,
we all know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, so if we're having a conversation with a baller and they say, why doesn't the sun change angular size? You would say, why should it? And they would say, because we see things in our world change angular size when it moves. It's like the Doppler effect visually. When it moves, when it's far away, it's small. When it comes close, it's big. When it moves far away, it gets small again. So then the question is, are you then suggesting the sun is physical? Yes, I am. Okay. How do you know that?
Right. Exactly.
Indeed.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. It's finding out what the claim actually is in the first place. Well, if the sun is a physical object, oh right, so we have to accept that presupposition, do we? No. I'm more than happy to say I don't know what it is. However, just to Rumpus in the chat, who's saying, when we make technical drawings of things, yeah, Ranty, how many technical drawings did you make while you were assessing the pictures that Miles Davis produced?
How many technical ones? What do you mean? The diagrams that I showed just show the point that Adam made?
No, how many technical drawings did you make?
None.
Right, so in other words, when we're assessing a photograph of something, we don't need to remove ourselves, put ourselves 90 degrees adjacent to it and assess it in an orthographic view and make technical drawings of it like Rumpus is asserting we must do. That's what you must do to ignore perspective, Rumpus. Yeah? Your obfuscation even continues in the chat. Nobody's making technical drawings, we're taking pictures of things, Rumpus. Yeah, you can claim what you like about technical drawings. That's not what we're doing. See this on screen? That's not a technical drawing. It's a perspective inclusive photograph. Guess what? So's this. And every single image that comes up. We're not drawing things. You are, to misrepresent what we say the world is. That's your lie. That's what we've exposed. That's where Miles has been debunked. Stick your head in the sand all you like. Go somewhere else to make technical drawings. We're looking at the world while you're making technical drawings.
How can you accuse us of ignoring perspective when you do the same?
Because you make technical drawings. Are you dumb? Did you not listen to the last 20 seconds of what I said? You're making technical drawings, P.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, technical drawings that aren't the world we view. This on screen is the world. That's not a technical drawing. Do you get it? Is this going to be another... I can't believe it. One after the next. Who else is going to come in here? Come on. Come one, come all, so I can tell you 1,000,000 times that the world we view includes perspective. And so idiots like Rumpus can tell us, no, when we assess technical drawings, we need an orthographic representation so it's accurate. Oh my God. What part of this don't you get, P? On screen, the view we photograph includes perspective, P.
You ignore perspective with the sun and the moon.
Sorry, I'm not ignoring anything. The pictures we take, fact, include perspective in every single respect. There is never, ever an opportunity to remove that from view. Ever. It does not happen, except in technical drawings, which is what you do to misrepresent the world. That's why every globe proof comes with a little technical drawing.
Oh, Nathan, can I just point out that Maika's Place gave you a super chat before? She said, why are we even having these arguments when J. Tolan Media shows zero curvature over like 1,000 miles? Shout out to J. Tolan Media because these videos are fantastic.
I totally agree. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. Regardless, we have people like Rumpus, people like P. Mars, people like Alan, People like that other guy with the polar bear. Hello, how you doing? Seaside.
Yeah.
That P Mars.
Oh.
Hello, Seaside.
Ethan, get your mental health tablets quickly. You have lost the plot.
That's an excellent rebuttal.
You have completely lost the plot, my friend.
That's Alan B.
You need mental health tablets. Get them now.
So that's an excellent rebuttal.
Vegan Goy has your tablets.
So is this the best the Globeheads have? This is the rebuttal. Yeah. So you guys remove the view and put it in orthographic so you can ignore perspective when telling the world what we say the world is. And then the actual effects of perspective get called curvature. That's what you do. And this is the rebuttal you have to tell me I need mental health tablets. That's the best you can do.
A padded cell.
Is that the best you can do? Is that really the best you can do?
You will be locked away for life. The padded cell.
That's not a rebuttal. That's not a rebuttal. Hello?
This is the level. This is the level of...
Yes, Mr. Whisperer, he is a lunatic.
This is the best they've got to offer.
290 people have been to space. Where have you been, Nathan? Nowhere.
Oh, really? Well, Whisper Boy. So, space is a vacuum, correct? Your idea of space.
It is not a Dyson Hoover, Nathan. It is space.
Yeah. 10 to the minus 17 torr at the most extreme. Vacuum.
Nathan, you're already in this for the t-shirts.
So you don't even know what a vacuum is. So I've given you the type, I've given you the value, and explained for the third time, as I'm doing now, that it is a vacuum in your religious belief. You're going to have an actual argument with me, or I'm going to kick you out.
Do you think you are Einstein, Nathan? Who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah, this is the best you've got.
Very sad.
Is this
Very
Chris
sad.
MCM?
Probably. Sounds like
I
a complete
reckon
retard. In fact, no.
Scottish,
It's
like
absolutely right, Arwin. I would almost guarantee it's Chris MCM because he's brought up mental health, and the guy's got mental health problems. Is that you, Chris? Have you got your mental health tablets, Chris?
No, I haven't.
That was projection. That was absolutely spot on, Arwin. Yes, I think he was asking about mental health tablets because it is Chris. Chris, go to the doctor. This isn't somewhere to get counselling. We know you have mental health issues and you want to project them onto us, the people pointing out that globeheads remove all aspects of angular size and angular resolution by putting it into a technical drawing called an orthographic view. Hello, Alan.
See, not me.
Yes.
Can you speak simultaneously?
He's gone.
Who is it? Which one is it?
He left.
Oh.
Who cares?
Oh.
So, Alan, are we going to get a concession?
I'm going. Bye. Bye.
The second he's even got the remotest hint that I'm going to put his toes to the fire with the exact same question I've asked him a dozen times, he goes of his own volition. So, is there any globeheads in the audience before we round this show out that can actually concede that it's a misrepresentation to exclude perspective from everything we view, just so you can say the effects of perspective are curvature? No? Just going to accept this as a religious belief, are we?
Who's that? Oh.
Hey, physics.
Hey, Nathan. One and all.
Perspective doesn't cause curvature. That's ridiculous.
No, that's what you do. You ignore perspective.
Obstruction.
And call it curvature.
Exactly.
You call
it doesn't cause curvature. It causes obstruction that you interpret as curvature.
Yeah. Does it not shock you, P, that we're being asked why we should be including perspective, while the effects we're saying are perspective are simultaneously claimed to be curvature, whilst you ask us why we should include perspective? Literally, we've been asked this on this show. Why should we include perspective? You got to be kidding me. I mean, you people watching must be stupid if you don't get this. Just brainwashed idiots, man. We're dealing with thickos.
I think the term is short-sighted in this
You're a
case.
stupid idiot, Nathan. That's the problem.
So, Nad Hom,
In this case, it's literally short-sighted.
Did you hear the people asking us why we should include perspective? Did you hear him ask me that 4 times?
I didn't know.
He asked me 4 times why we should include perspective, and all the things we're detailing and explaining with perspective is excluded when you claim it's curvature. Isn't this ringing any alarm bells, P? It should be.
No, because everything you accuse other people of doing, you're guilty of yourself. You're
really? So I put the world in an orthographic view, do I, P? I'm guilty of putting the world in an orthographic view and excluding perspective, am I? What an absolute bonehead. This is projection.
You're the boy who cried
I'm telling
R.
you what you do, and you're telling me that's what I do. Okay, that's just projection, like literally textbook.
Is that the only word you know in
No, it's just
psychology?
fact.
I think it's
You
the
just
only
told
word-
me,
it's the only
literally,
term
no,
you've
that's
ever
what you
studied
do.
in psychology.
No, that's what you do. I'm detailing what globeheads do to misrepresent the world. Your answer to that is, no, that's what you do. That's projection.
Yes,
I'm explaining
you
what you do,
misrepresent
and you're
the
telling me
world.
I do it, P. That's called
Yes.
projection. You just don't understand psychology. You're thick as swell.
Oh, I say happy very trolley Thanksgiving Day, everybody.
The mainstream media does it too.
That's a segue. So,
They
P,
accuse-
in order to misrepresent the world we live in, what globeheads do is remove perspective by putting it in orthographic view when they represent what we say the world should be, flat.
No, you misrepresent what the world should be.
No,
by
you're
using
doing it again,
perspective.
P. I've just explained very concisely what the globeheads do, and again, you're telling me it's what I do. That's called projection. Hello, Dumbo.
Hello.
Globehead. Hello.
You also accuse people of having a religious belief, but you have 2 dogmatic beliefs you can't
Again,
justify.
you're telling me what I do, P. No acknowledgement. No
You have 2
acknowledgement.
dogmatic beliefs
No
you can't
acknowledgement.
justify.
So it's your dogma in this removal of perspective that you must cling on to so you can call it curvature. And you won't acknowledge it. You'll talk about something else. Second time you've done it, P. What's your problem, dogma?
What am I supposed to acknowledge?
Dogmatic
I don't
about curvature or something, P? Is it your curve that you're dogmatic about? Because you're not acknowledging my point. Why would that be?
What is
because
what's-
of your religious
I don't
belief
even
in
understand your
curve?
point.
Yeah, you've got a religious belief in curve, and in order to achieve that, you misrepresent the way the world actually is, obviously and observably flat, by saying the world is a 90-degree adjacent view that excludes perspective. I've said it about 30 times on this show.
Perspective has nothing to do with the curve of the Earth.
It's
And
got everything to do with anything you photograph ever.
No, it doesn't.
We are literally dealing with complete and total perspective denial. This is absolutely priceless. That's got to be my note to round the show out. So with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then smash that dislike button twice. But if you liked it, then be sure to subscribe if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!